welcome everyone to the second town hall for the month of August, going as always through the regular agenda, and after that we'll have an open forum or comment on specific topics. So I'm not sure if anybody from the DAO committee is here to speak. I'm not sure if I see anyone in the audience. If not, we can move on to the next updates and we'll check on that at the end. Oh, Rix, do you want to head on up? If you have any updates, you're welcome to come up and speak. You can raise your hand and we'll let you up. I see you in the audience. Any other questions will remain till the end portion when we'll have the open forum, if that's okay. If not, we'll just move on and let's see.
Lord, do you want to say something? You requested to speak. If not...
Hi, folks. How are you?
Hey there.
Hope you're doing well. We with fans and community completed this analytical stage in strategic planning and are ready to go to the next stage of drafting areas of interest and objectives of our Decentraland DAO as a part of creating a strategy and roadmap for a DAO. So, as fans said, it will be next strategic planning meeting will be like approximately 11 of September. I will confirm with him this date. It will be 7 strategic planning meeting. So as to the financial planning of our DAO, I'm continuing working on Google transparency sheet in this field, at least like consulting. But at the end, community will decide and we'll look if it, as I said, acceptable for us. So I would also say that we need a SEP we need a SEP code of ethics, and I'm very thankful to facilitation squad that they moved this initiative. Also, you can look at my suggestions to the code of ethics. Fast said it's completely feasible if community will support it, so please look at it. I added some thoughts about unethical voting, about delegate accountability. So if you have any thoughts, you can just propose if something to add or delete. Let us know. So it's all. Thank you for listening in.
Thank you for that. I was hoping to just jump in and do my update before my battery dies, if that's okay, Gino.
Totally. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So I wanted to first off thank everyone who attended the second Brick by Brick Builders Club with our special guest, Nico from Foundation. He dove into portable experiences, smart wearables, and the DCL cast demo, which was a lot of fun, super informative, and I will paste here the link for that video if you were not able to join us for that. Also, yesterday we held our first ever Decentraland All Hands with Foundation yesterday. It was awesome. It was jam-packed. There was about over 75 attendees, full of great updates from the Foundation side, lots of engaging questions from the community as well. So thank you to everyone who showed up. And for those of you who are newer here and wondering what these sessions are about, the Decentraland All Hands is a revamped format that has now replaced the traditional AMA sessions that we were hosting. Their cadence will be every 7 weeks, so the next one will be on October 11th. And this new format was designed in collaboration with DAO squads and Foundation side to provide a more comprehensive insights and foster deeper connections between the Foundation and all of you guys in the community. This week I will be having, as you know, I've been having some technical issues, but hopefully the recording will be up later today if my power comes back on. And also, like always, I will be continuing to plan, create, and post content across our socials. In the meantime, I'm hoping that we can still do our in-world meetup that is planned today. I'm going to be jumping on another computer and hoping if he's able to screen share, that will actually be happening after this town hall is over, but I'll keep you guys posted. It might have to be postponed, hoping not. But if that happens, I will just message everybody here in the chat and let you know. And with that, I'll pass it back to you, Gino. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fractilians. Okay, I have a couple of updates on our side. First, regarding to the work that the governance squad is doing, we are about to finish a revamp of the grants dashboard to start displaying information regarding the bidding and tendering projects. So we will like rename the grants projects, the grants dashboard to projects dashboard, and we will be adding some filtering and sorting there, so the community can know once we get our first bid project approved, how is it going? How's the accountability regarding the monthly updates? How the money is being consumed from the vesting contract, and basically anything that you could see from a grant, you will be able to see it from a bid. Second, we are working on the top voters badge. As you know, in the last town hall 2 weeks ago, we communicated that we were airdropping the legislator badge to users who authored or co-authored a governance proposal that got approved by the community. So now we're doing the same for the top voters of the month. So basically, if you are a heavily engaged voter in the DAO, you will have a badge that says so in the blockchain. I want you to remind that this is a cool thing because it is based on a standard ERC 721 token. So it's basically can be consumed anywhere because it's going to live in your wallet. So it's one reputation token for you in Decentraland, but also potentially in other DAOs or projects that you might be involved with. As I said in the past, we see this as a cornerstone for social reputation mechanism to maybe in the future modify some like the way that voting power works regarding to how the community deems your contributions to the DAO. And basically maybe if you have a token and your voting power can be modified or something like that, this is again something that is going to be up to the community, but it's one of the ideas that we have in mind for the next iterations of this feature. Finally, we are working on a pretty cool but small feature that is basically add to calendar the other like reminders to your Google Calendar or to a calendar of your choice regarding when a proposal ends, like when a proposal is voting period ends. So we've been seeing a lot of last minute movements in proposals, and we want to make sure that anyone can see how the voting power is moving. And we're also going to be working on some visibility on how the wallets voting in the DAO votes in time in the proposals, right? I mean, that's something that we've been seeing a lot in governance proposals and grant proposals in the past. Second, and this is not related to the governance squad, but it's related to a proposal that I've co-authored with Kim, who is here from the foundation side regarding the ambassadors program. Happy to see that the community backed the project so heavily and really want to make this a reality. Again, neither Kim or I are going to be employees of that project. We just kickstarted the process. The foundation is going to be hiring like a project manager or a program manager for that role. And it's going to be a joint effort between the foundation and the DAO, which also I think it's great because it is, I don't know if it's the first time, but it's one of the first times that we see a shared budget between the foundation and the DAO, which I think is pretty cool. And it will also create a nice platform for engaged community members to organize events and to bring Decentraland close to IRL and to wherever you are. So I think that's pretty cool. And finally, I want to do a quick note because you've probably seen some pictures shared in Twitter and in the DAO and in other places. Last week, we had a pretty big Ethereum community conference in Argentina called Ethereum Argentina. You might remember last year we had Ethereum Latam where I give a keynote. This year, the conference was really good, especially taking in consideration the bear market that we're in. Nico and Shaw from Foundation gave a workshop about the SDK7. It was really well received, and we had a booth there that the foundation set it up. But I would say 90% of the DAO core units members who are based in Buenos Aires all around were there and answered questions from the community, and it was really great. I think the story of decentralized and open source metaverse really picked up, and people is really interested about learning more from Decentraland. As you know, Decentraland has its roots in Argentina, so a lot of people knew the project from the beginning or from the white paper, and they want to know what we were doing, what was a grants program. They were really interested about the development of worlds. They were also really interested about the development of a VR client or a mobile experience as well. So it was really cool to see that and to see a lot of people interested in the project. So yeah, I think that's it from my side. I think next in line is Fifi, who will be sharing some updates from the grant support squads. Thank you so much.
This is Fifi from the grant support squad. Can you hear me well?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Perfect. So I have some news to share with you. And in the end, we have the Grant AI scene to show their progress. It is pretty interesting. So please stay until the end. So this week we have launched our update. Let me share the link here in the chat, just for you to know. Hello there. I'm trying to read the comments. Oh, here is the link. So August is ending, and a lot of things happen in the Grant Support Squad. We have been very active in the community in the process of creating the new category, improving our budgeting proposal based on your feedback, and also we are analyzing grants for more closely due to the community concern. We do have some concerns raised from the communities. That takes time, so don't worry, we are on it. And we have a new poll about SDK7. Our landing page is launching soon, and we are sending out some fun swags. Pablo will show some things in a minute. Please read our last monthly update, and now you can leave us comments there. I don't know if everybody knows, but from this month in the GovApp, you can put comments in everybody's monthly update. So please go there and use it. That will be fun. So to wrap up in numbers at our month, we received 12 new grantees, adding a total of 46 active projects right now. We allocate a total of 122 hours to interact with them and provide support. We have identified 50 problems and requests. 42 are solved right now, and we are working in the rest. But besides this month, we are still working with 11 grantees from Legacy. Legacy is the grants that passes before March 2023. From those, 5 are finishing during this month. So we are only going to have like 6 of them. So the onboarding swag, we are ready to send it. One note is that the swag is for the grantees for this year. And this is an MVP that if it work and if it's good practice, we will implement it for the program in the future. So if you are a grantee from this year, please fill out a form that we sent you by email last week to provide your address, and we will contact you individually soon. Please be patient in receiving it because we will collect all the addresses and send them all together. And shipping logistics could not be easy, you know. So Pablo, are you there? Oh, nice. There you are. Can you put your camera and show an amazing gift?
Yeah, I can do that. I don't know if you see me. This is the tote bag that every grantee will receive. Here, inside that you will receive this bag, which is a pencil that says Decentraland. You will receive 2 stickers like this one and the other one. You will receive 2 cards with the journey that we have created for every project. and another card as a welcome one, and also a T-shirt from the Decentraland DAO. And this is the onboarding swag that we will send to each grantee from this year. Thank you, Fifi.
Nice, thank you. I love the unboxing.
I forgot to show you the keyring.
Oh, now I need to buy the house to have a key to use it. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, we can read you the comments if you like it or not. Please leave us comments. As I said, this is an MVP that we are trying to do this experience in the grants programs a little bit happier. So let's see how it goes. So another subject, proposal, uploading to community experiences on Monday next week. So you know that we are working on this new category for this. Next week we will have the proposal. So hosting an open session with the community for budgeting. This is something that will happen again to try to gather all the information from you to see what we are going to do next regarding budgeting. And SDK 7, we launch a poll right now that it says like, should the deliverers of the project funded by the DAO through the grants program be built or compatible with the last stable Decentraland SDK? So please join the discussion there and let us know what do you think. So to end this update, this week we received a number of comments in some polls and in Discord regarding accountability process from the Grant Support Squad. And we apologize for not being able to chat actively, as currently we have like 46 active grants and we're only 4 people working here in the Grant Support Squad. But we will try to share some comments here and we will continue responding all these comments during these days. So first of all, we are super happy to see that everyone is interested in helping to grow the revocation process. But however, as you know, every process requires time and insight, and we will gather all the requests and process improvement to try to create an improvement of this process at the end of the year. But currently, we cannot respond reactively to this situation because the revocation process is something new that we are also trying to see how this is working. So, but let me share some thoughts about the accountability process. You know that before the Grant Support Squad happened, there was no follow-up with grantees, no support at all, and no revocation. And when the team was created 1 year ago, the first things we did was to understand what the program needed and implement it in phases. So we are in a constant improvement of this Grant Support Squad program. We are trying to make it in these phases. So we began by getting to know the grantees and understanding their pain of points and establish a criteria for flagging grants that were not delivering in order to take care of the DAO treasury. So regarding accountability, right now, we started revoking grants that were not being shipped and created open roadmaps. This is public roadmap that you can all check. And adding testing steps DAO treasury. So we are sorry if we cannot answer you in the chat instantly. Sometimes we have a lot of stuff. Right now we have some things to review, and we are working with the grantees. So hi Bowman, do you want to say something before I go on?
Hello, so this is the demo for DCL Builder AI, which is an AI-powered scene generation tool for Decentraland. So as you can see, right at the top we have this text prompt where the user can type in a description for the scene that they're looking for, and we have these three buttons. I'll show all of these three what they do. So here the user is supposed to type in the scene that they want, or the objects in the scene that they want. So for example, I can do something simple like generate 2 cubes at position 505 and position 506. So then I can either generate the code for it, which will give me the code for this related to this text prompt, or I can directly generate the scene. So first I'll start off with generating the code. So it will run a query to the DCL Builder AI, which will return the code for this text request. So as you can see here, they are generating the two cubes. Now I can click on preview, which will load the SDK7 scene template, and this will have this will try to basically run this code. So let's see, and this will take a moment. Okay. So as you can see, I have a scene template over here, and I have 2 cubes at position 505 and position 506. Now I can also directly generate the scene without generating the code first. So the idea with generating the code first is to let the user change some aspects of the code before clicking the preview option. So if I were to directly generate the scene first, it would be I can do something like generate a random structure around the middle of the scene, or of the land. So DCL Builder AI can also generate structures and 3D models, and it can insert it directly into your scene. So if I were to click on generate scene now, so it will try to directly generate the scene, and then it will just take a moment to reload again. Okay, so this was like a random structure that DCL Builder AI generated, and so basically the idea is that users will be able to directly describe whatever they want, and they should be able to either directly play with the code or play with the scene. And let me use like an example from the DCL SDK7 documentation. So something like generate an avocado and at a random position, and let it make it vanish when a user clicks on it. So this will basically generate an avocado, and it will try to make it vanish or disappear when the user clicks on it. So once again, it will reload the SDK7 scene template, and this should not take a long time. Okay, so as you can see, there is an avocado generated at a random position, and now if I were to click on it, it will disappear. So I can generate code scenes like this. Let me show how generate model works. So let me clear this and say if we wanted a model of a red car, I can click on generate model, and it will take around 10 seconds or so, and it will give me the model of a red car. So here it is, and I will also get an email that through which I can download this model in a Blender compatible format, and I can directly use it into my scene. Right, like this. This is a sample email. So we're working on launching this tool around late next month, and users would be able to also directly connect their wallets and publish the final scene that they want.
I don't know if anybody else has any other updates. We can move on to the open forum portion. And I'm trying to load up Decentraland right now because my internet came back on. So hopefully we will be doing our in-world meetup afterwards, and we'll be bringing up Mazak from SoulMagic later afterwards. So if anybody has any questions, I believe if Gino, you can help me with the open forum portion, that'd be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Great.
If you have questions, raise your hand and I will invite you to speak on stage.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me right?
Yeah.
Hey guys. Hello, team. Hello, all the audience and so all the DAO community. Nice to see you all here. Have a nice one for you all. So, mostly I can say just we have uploaded the updates just yesterday on all of our pages. Also on Discord and on the proposal page, so you can check it. There is so quite good big one with a lot of pictures, with a lot of renders of participants, with a lot of some screenshots of our work around the master plan, and so. That's it, and maybe just later, closer to beginning of September, we will upload the video tour over our master plan and the scene of the Biennale, and also we will have test drive of it first test deploy on Plaza with the foundation squad on the 30 of August. So that's it. You can check our updates all over our pages. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks. We got an unexpected update. That's great. Come on. Don't be shy.
I think there's one person having a question.
So
Let's see if able to bring him up.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I've just invited you to speak.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey there.
Hi. Okay. You all can hear me. Perfect. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak and ask my question, and great job today. My name is obviously Mel's Buena Vibes. I also go by Melanie. I have a question regarding, I think, Fifi, you were giving this update earlier regarding just like the grantees and the grantee or the grant support squad. A lot of what I'm hearing is predominantly focused around like revoking grants, and not necessarily what I would personally deem supporting. It's almost like supporting the DAO treasury. What are you guys planning to implement to further support those in the grant process? Now, one thing I'd like to highlight is I think folks are assuming that if someone gets a grant revoked, it's because they're a bad actor. It could very well be that they don't have the right support, right? So what steps are we planning to take, or maybe you've already to help support the successful execution of some of these grants?
Fifi, if you want to, I can take this one. Hi, my name is Gia. I'm part of the Grant Support Squad too. So regarding revocations and accountability, what happens is that what we do is we are mainly here for support. So what we want the grantees who are voted by the community is to make the best projects possible. On our side, there is no interest from our squad to be a bureaucratic barrier to them. We do want them to comply with their proposals and add value to Decentraland. So we gather with them monthly, we hear their blockers, we hear their requests, we provide them with the support they need to have successful projects. And if there are concerns, then is when we ask for proof of what they are doing. And this is reviewed on a case-by-case basis based on the concern that we as a team have. So sometimes, for example, it is asking for expenses reports, some others on signed contracts that they might have with stakeholders, others on events held, for example, I don't know, wearables minted, content published, among many, many, many others. So every monthly meeting that we have, for example, with a grantee involves a lot of work from our team. And we are working with, as Fifi said, with 46 ongoing projects right now. And that includes going over their last update, checking their proposal, comparing what they are delivering, then preparing questions and preparing a meeting with them to go over the questions that we have. After we have the meeting, also follow up on their previous blockers or their requests, plus adding any request that they have along the month. So we not only prepare that meeting like a lot, comparing all these documents, but also they can reach out to us in any point of the month, not only the monthly call. And this adds up, of course, to all the activities we do to make a better grants program and provide transparency, such as, for example, the governance proposals, documentation updates, and answering their threats. So it is our job and responsibility to bring transparency to you on the work that we do. But at the same time, we cannot ask everyone to be suspicious, and we don't want to add that bureaucracy, but we do on a case-by-case basis review each of them. I don't know if that answers your question. If so, you can also.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you predominantly focused on the revocation process. My goal was more so to have the platform to speak to how you do support and what ways that you try to make them help the grantee actually successfully execute, right? Because when I hear the word support, I think of a partner or like a trusted advisor or something of that nature, and not like you're saying, like where you have to prove things so much, because I think that could set the tone a little bit differently, more so in a negative fashion than maybe a grantee should have, like at least from an experience perspective.
Yeah, and on that perspective, I can thank you, Cheddar, for that comment. I was working on a community response for the Discord discussion. I will publish it today, so for the people who are not in the town hall can also see where we are coming from. There is something that it's important here, that it's that before there was a grant support squad, there was no follow-up with grantees. There was no support, there was no revocations. And when the team was created, the first thing we did was understanding what the program needed and started implementing it in phases. So we first got to know the grantees, understand their pains. Then also we created a criteria on when to flag grants that were not delivering, also to take care of the DAO treasury. That led to a lot of different processes. The revocations committee was created also to have a step of taking care of the grantees also. And then in the side of support, just to add a little bit of that, besides the monthly meetings, we have created a few initiatives and we will create them along the way. Like, for example, at some point we created the AMAs, or we connect them with advisors. Those advisors are inside our own budget as the grant support squad. And for example, we have this open channel for them to ask whatever they need to help them lead to project successes. Yeah, and then regarding accountability, also started revoking grants that were not shipping, or creating, for example, these open roadmaps, or adding the testing Tuesdays steps for grants that are building experiences. are also parts of like little bits and pieces of accountability processes. Because one of the things that happened is that the grantees had this update monthly, like that this space for them to build updates monthly, but that didn't make like a correlation or a clear correlation between the proposal and what they were updating in. So that's why we created these open roadmaps. So when we prepare these monthly meetings with each grantee, we make that correlation on our own. And if we have any concerns or questions, then we ask them on the monthly meeting for them to either, most of the time they just like forgot to put it on the update. So we ask them to put it on the update the next time. So they bring that transparency on the forum, on their proposal. And sometimes they are either delayed or they had slightly changes based on, I don't know, for example, a vendor. Like there are many examples of slight changes in the grants program or in their grantees. And one thing that it's important also, like from the spirit of our squad, is that changes, like we understand changes, slight changes, like for example, vendors or what tool to use or what server to use. We understand that as getting to know the Web3 ecosystem or getting to know our SDK. And those delays, even though they are problematic because they are still receiving money, they are learning along the process, and that is something really valuable. So when there are either slight changes or slight delays, we are okay with that. Now, when you are not shipping, when you're saying that you're going to build, I don't know, like 12 events and it's month 3 and you haven't done one when you were supposed to do it at month 1, well, that is a clear concern because the learning process or the reasonable delay is done. I'm sorry, I got super verbal, but yes, I hope that answered.
That was helpful, Yara Rosita. That was very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
If anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to raise your hand.
I was reading a comment from Dogman that says, did the Grant Support Squad, se me fue. Did the Grant Support Squad at the requirement for financial reporting? Can you talk about this? So, there is a budget that each grantee puts on their proposal. And that budget kind of frames for the community if what the budget that they are asking for is makes sense for the proposal. And I would like to add something about our scope of work. As the Grant Support Squad, our scope of works starts when a grantee passes and it finishes when a grantee ends. So we are not included in the process of, for example, proposals being done, mostly because of capacity, because we are, most of us are on full capacity with all the activities that we are doing. So we cannot take that stage, for example, which means that we 100% trust in the community of voters. And I say this with a little concern because we know that plutocracy is out there, that we do have whales, that there is a lobby, but we do not engage with that. But once a grantee passes, then that is our responsibility. So when we onboard a grantee, what we do is we review the budget with them. And if there is a very big concern in terms of budgeting, then we let them know that we will go over that specific financial concern that we have on their proposal. But if there are not things that are overwhelmingly concerns, we just trust the community that they have voted a proposal that budgetarily makes sense for what they are going to deliver. If in the middle, as I said before, we see any concerns regarding budgeting or that they are not delivering or that they are not paying, because we have received cases where the artists were like, okay, they have this budget in the proposal, but they are not paying us. In those cases, we do review finances. But again, we don't want to be an entity, to put it on a space, or a squad that adds bureaucracy. These are builders, and what they do is build, and we want them to focus on building. If they have any blocker, we will be there for them. And if we have any financial concern, because there are many types of concerns, if we have a financial concern, then we would ask for financial statements.
So last time when I asked a question in general chat, it kind of got answered with the same response. The budget is laid out in the proposal. If the community accepts this budget, it's kind of not our responsibility to check in at all on this, and that's the budget that's been accepted. My concern, just like I don't necessarily think that people should be like, that is that not true? 50? You can feel free to interrupt me. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I did not get it.
I saw Tango in the chat said that not at all. I didn't know if he was replying to me or not. Anyway, so my concern is that yes, the community votes on the budget at the beginning, but there's no standard of accountability for this. For instance, I've been mentioned on grants before as a developer. The grant then decide to go a different way and hire other developers. I don't think there's anything wrong with this, but I do think that it is not transparent because, for people, you say that people vote on the budget to approve the budget. People could have voted, knowing that like a developer who's familiar with Decentraland, has done a lot of work at Decentraland, they could have voted for that. And then if you go and pay like a totally separate developer, I just think there needs to, again, I don't think that grantees should be required to send every transaction and to say, here's where the money went, here's the Etherscan, here's the PayPal for it. But I think they should include something that said, we spent this amount on development, we spent this amount on modeling, and these are the companies that took that job. I just don't see what a downside to that would be to submitting some sort of financial document. And I would love to hear the response to that, I suppose.
Sure. Well, yesterday there was this discussion. I think Gino responded from a technical side from the governance app. Based on the fact that this can be implemented without going through a 3-step governance proposal, and if that squad has the capacity to put it in their roadmap, which Gino said they could, that is something that could be done technically. Now, for us to put it as a requirement of the grants program to every single grant, that has to go over a 3-step governance proposal. In my opinion, and this is super personal, please don't take this as a grant support squad statement, but in my opinion, if we have that technical option and it doesn't hurt, it only gives us more documents to check and understand where the money is going for. But having designed other grants programs in the past, I think that is something that can be useful or not, depending on the type of program or the type of concern. If we have a concern today, we just ask. If we don't have a concern, we do not have any interest of doing that. But that being said, that would be the process. If they have a capacity to build it into a roadmap, it wouldn't hurt. I think it's important to have more spaces to be able to show the work that we are doing and where the money goes to. But at the same time, if we want that to be a requirement for every grant, because that's what we want to build within the community, to where the money is going, then yes, we can work on that governance proposal too.
Okay. Sorry, I just have two quick follow-up questions. The first one would be, do y'all think there's any downside at all to requesting financial documents? And then the second would be, what documentation do y'all require on your support meetings? What do you ask for to judge a success of a project? What specific metrics and numbers are you asking for?
Hey there.
Grantees?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was talking before. We have other people that want to talk, and maybe we can continue this in another space. But I will try to give you like a quick answer about that. We have like 7 categories, and every category has a special requirements and their metrics that the grantees needs to provide. I will send you the link right now in the chat for you to check. So at the beginning, we do an onboarding process, but before the onboarding with the grantee, we do analyze as a team the grant to see if the community hasn't seen anything weird, like budget, teams, the duration of the project and all that, and we check all that before. That could take a while. For example, I don't know, platforms, category or grants take a lot of time to make a good analysis of that. And when we have analysis and if we found some issues or concern, we do have the onboarding process and the meeting, and then we explain all the process of the grant program and all these questions. The following meeting will be a roadmap meeting where we work with the grantee about their roadmap, and we ask them to clarify some points and to see the duration of the project as well. So there is a lot of things we do on that, and I'm happy to book a meeting with you and to show you the life cycle of the grant. That maybe that could work a little bit. So for metric, this is something new for this year. So we are trying out how it works, because metric it depends also on the category. So in Word Experience have their own metrics. Platform, they have comments, for example, and documentation they need to provide, how many updates they do in the awesome repository. It's a very long and essential thing. I want everyone to know. Yeah, sure. This is a public information, so I will put it here in the chat and you can read it. So is that good? So
yes,
we can continue.
Thank you so much for letting me talk and for asking my questions. Anything else?
Yeah, sure.
Right in the chat.
No, thank you. Thank you. As I said, we are trying to always to make improvements on the program. So we love to hear.
And I appreciate the work y'all are doing, definitely.
So, thank you so much. So, Cheetah, you want to talk?
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, I said Cheetah.
I said Cheetah. Sorry about that.
Sorry, my English is so bad. I will let you talk in a minute. Hi, Cheetah.
Hello, good morning and good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer our questions. I really appreciate you guys being here. I just had 2 quick questions. One was about the Notion site. We've kind of been using the Notion site to sort of try to keep track of the grant roadmaps instead of having to go through all the individual updates, which is a really great idea, but it seems like it's sort of incomplete and there's just not a lot of useful information that is being posted on there. I was wondering if the Grant Support Squad oversees that at all, or is that something that the grantees update themselves? And then my second question was about the final reports. I believe in your last grant, you guys talked about having some final reports done once the grant is over so that we can better judge the impact that the grants have on the community. And I was wondering if you guys have been doing that and where those final reports are found, if it's in the Notion or the updates, or if you guys could point me to that information. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes, sure. So I will answer the roadmap thing because it's my side, and Jarcita maybe can talk a little bit about the end reports. So the public roadmap, this is something new also from this year. So it's an MVP. We are trying to see if this is something that could work for the community. So the process is once we get the initial roadmap and it's consistent what the grantee put in the proposal and maybe the information that they haven't done providing the proposal. Well, once we have the public roadmap ready, we publish them. Some of them are still in draft because we are still in conversation with the grantees. Once it's published, the next month, before going to our monthly meeting with the grantees, we read their updates and we check with the roadmap. Also, we let right now the grantees to put comments on the cards as well. Or in the meeting that we have monthly, we do make questions about those cards. So we try to keep it updated all the time. So yeah, that's the process. We use that to keep on track and say, hey, how was this doing? Are you on date? Sometimes they are, late for 1 or 2 weeks or 1 month, or we are trying to see. This is an idea that we try to see the overall picture, and if we see something that, okay, this is a delay, but how many is going to be delayed? It's going to be like 30 days or 2 months. Maybe we have to review the vesting contract, or if we see some concerns there, we can make a recommendation to the revocation committee. Well, that's for public roadmap. I don't know if you want to ask me something about that, or I will let Jaracita take the other.
Yes. So regarding the grant's final report form, I can share it here on the on the chat. But basically, this is a form that we implemented on our first grant when we didn't have impact metrics for each category. Actually, after this was we started the conversations regarding, okay, how can we ask for impact metrics? How can we create requirements and impact metrics for each category and start measuring from a monitoring, evaluations, and learning perspective how to measure that impact? Because before it wasn't done. So this form, what it has is more insights on what the team, for example, has learned from the grant, how does the grant project impact the Decentraland community, what was the most important support they received from Decentraland, what has changed from the proposal along the way that you didn't have in mind, or for example, how can we make a better grants program. So this end report, it's done once, and it's done after they have finished their last update in the grant proposal. From these questions, the answers are gathered once every 6 months, which is when we finish our grant. So every 6 months, we do an analysis of all the grantees that have finished along those 6 months. And we make an open session, which is in this town hall, to share the common comments on those. If you go, or I can also check that URL, but if you go to our last update on our last grant before this renewal, you will see the link to the presentation that we did, where we bring insights from the answers on these specific questions. Today, for example, starting in March, the change for impact metrics was implemented in the grants framework, which means that, and so far, since March until now, I think 7 projects have ended, so we don't have a lot of information regarding the impacts of the grantees from the grants program, but we have started that baseline. So as soon as we finish this grant renewal, we will share the insights that we have so far. And the idea is that we can complement and update this impact from the grants program to the Decentraland ecosystem every 6 months when we do that final cut. I don't know if that answers your question, Cheddar.
Yes, thank you so much. So this is something that started before we decided to start measuring impact metrics, and now you've continued it. And then the impact metrics are now also going to be a part of the final report. Would that be a correct assessment?
Yes, what we will do after 6 months, every 6 months, is to gather for each category. We have different columns that we are measuring. Now, I have to go in a minute, but okay, I'll try to be as brief as possible. So for each category, we have one column based on the impact metrics of those categories. And then on each line, a grantee with the final result of that. So for example, if we have an in-world category, one of the impact metrics will be, scenes deployed, for example. So on each line of that spreadsheet, we will have each of the grantees with the scenes that they deployed. And in the end, after those 6 months, we will say, like, for example, X amount of grantees have finished an in-world content category, and the impact from the grants program to the Decentraland ecosystem for these 6 months is that, 15 scenes have been deployed with X amount of people. I thank you so much, Pablo. So yes, as you can see, this is the spreadsheet that we are working on based on the impact metrics that we are measuring. So for each of the categories, we have one tab. And then for each of the grants that finish, we will complete that. And the idea is that we can make an assessment or an analysis on how the grants program helps or impacts the Decentraland ecosystem as a whole. This is the first time that we are going to measure impacts since March the 1st. So the idea is that along the way, as we are seeing more grantees finish, that we can adjust these impact metrics towards, number one, what the community is building, and number two, what the strategic planning is planning, valga la redundancia. I don't know if that answers. This is preliminary, and this is the first time that we are trying this, but basically that's how we are doing it and how we are going to make it better along the way.
That's great. Thank you
so much.
I just have one more question about transparency. One of the things that we've been discussing is the transparency of the reporting program. I don't know if this is something that has already been discussed, but I was wondering if you could speak on the GSS squad's thoughts on the transparency of the reporting program. I know Dogman said that he submitted a couple of reports and he hasn't received a response as to what happened to his reporting. And you guys mentioned that when a community member makes a report, that only that person who made the report and the grantee are notified of what's going on, unless the GSS decides to escalate, in which then maybe the community is then notified of what's happening. So I think that people have been calling for more transparency in that process, and I would just like to know what your thoughts are.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm checking that, Dogman. If you don't receive any email, I will take care of that. Thanks. So that's all. Yeah, the idea is. I'm sorry, Jessica, you want to say something?
No, continue. If you're answering, that's great.
Okay, gentlemen, sorry. I will take care of that. Yeah, we read the comment. We haven't started the email, so let me check that. But I know what you're talking about. Well, you know that this is a process that the formal request has already started, and we are continuing this. And of course, we need to iterate in this process as well. So far, yes, that's is how you mentioned, Cheddar. It's something that we try to receive the formal request and to try to see what is an objective concern or something that it's in our scope, because sometimes people are finding each other, and so we try to gather all the information and to ask information to the grantee and to the person who raised the concern. And after that, we make our analysis and we send to the grantee, okay, this is what you have to report to us. When we get this, we review and decide if this is something that could be a revocation or not. And after we have the decision, we let both parties know about the process, and also we make a comment on the proposal to make discussion public for everyone in the community. But like I said, this is something that we need to continue to iterate. So every feedback is welcome. We don't have a lot of time. I'm sorry, but we have to go. But we are thinking to make Well. Wait.
Let me just say one quick thing. Yeah, I wanted to say to the moon. Will be the last question before we move on to the in-world meetup portion. But
Thank you.
We'll give to the moon, and Fifi, I'll let you finish, and then to the moon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. No, sorry, Timon. I was trying to wrap up because sometimes people make one question and they have 3-4 more, and we don't have enough time. So we are planning to make a community session about those subjects to gather all the information at once and try to make a good improvement on every process. So to that, it's all yours.
Hey, thank you very much. So mine, I'm a little confused on. I'm gonna straight up honest with you guys. There's no disrespect here. I don't understand the value the Grant Support Squad brings to the community right now. Right now, the problem that you guys are looking at, which is metrics and all this other stuff, it is important. However, the bigger issue here is we're losing money. We are losing money, and you guys are not holding people accountable of the grants that are happening right now. And right now it's kind of backwards. I kind of feel like when it comes to, let's say, for instance, everybody's like, oh, you got to prove me guilty. I'm innocent until proven guilty. But that's not the case. This is not a criminal matter here. This is a civil matter, and we're handing out money to people. They have the ultimate burden of proof to show that they are doing what they said they're going to do. And I will say, the updates that they are giving, most of these grants, I've looked at a lot of these updates recently, and they're all crap. They're all crap. They don't tell you a damn thing. It's really sad. They're like, oh, I had for instance, I'm not going to name names, but I had an in-world event, and you can't provide proof of who showed up. If I had it in my basement, would you know I had an in-world event? Are you promoting it? Where's the promotions for it? Where's all this? Yeah, I had an in-world event. It was in my basement, and no one came. But guess what? I still have my event. That's all that matters for the update. I told everybody about the update that I had my event, and that's all that matters because I said I would have my in-world event. What I'm saying here is shift the burden of proof to the grantee. It's not the community to try to say, hey, show us the evidence. They should be providing the evidence, and if they do not give sufficient evidence beyond what they say they're going to provide, then they are not doing their job. Their grants should be revoked immediately or should be passed on to revocations committee. We're giving too much of a lag. If you can't provide a good update and show all the evidence and all the proof of all the financials of everything, sorry, your contract is paused until you can prove that. So I think here the real question is, why is the Grant Support Squad focusing on these bureaucratic, in my opinion, bullshit, and start focusing on what is actually what's actually gonna help the DAO? Because people are leaving the DAO because they are tired of seeing the money being drained from it. They are tired of it. People are tired of the politics. They're tired of the bullshit. If the Grant Support Squad really cares about the DAO and the community, they would be focusing on how can we make the grant system better so that way people are not getting discouraged and leaving. And that's what's happening right now. People are leaving. So I don't know.
Thank you. Yes. I can answer to that. First of all, of course, we care. If we wouldn't be here in the first place. Second of all, regarding the community flagging the concerns, most of the concerns that we have and that we elevate to the revocations committee is based on evidence, which comes from our monthly check-in with them. So instead of the community flagging the abuse, what we are doing is every single month getting with them, seeing if they are on roadmap, and if they are not, and we have concerns, then we flag them out.
How do we know you're doing that?
Oh, because you have the monthly updates. We have the open roadmaps are being updated every single month.
Is it your roadmaps or their roadmaps?
Sorry?
Is it your roadmap or their roadmap?
Their roadmap.
Because I don't think any of you. But you don't give it your roadmap. Your updates don't show any of their updates or the results of their updates, what questions you've asking them. All that should be public. It all should be transparent.
It is. And it is on the Notion. I don't know if you have opened them, but what we do is we provide a roadmap with what they have drafted on their proposal. And then what we do is we put those in time. And when we have the onboarding with them, we check that roadmap is correct. And every single month, we open that open roadmap and we gather their inputs plus what we have seen, plus what we have gathered from their update. And we collectively, the grantee plus the grant support squad, update that roadmap together. I don't know, we can continue this in another platform.
I guess the question is, why doesn't the community feel like the grant support squad? And they won't admit it because they're sucking everybody's, but up here. But what I'm saying is, why all of a sudden is the community sentiment that there's no accountability when you guys are saying the accountability is being done? But we have nowhere to show for it, and we don't feel like we're not feeling satisfied to the point that the grant support squad is doing their job for accountability. I'm not saying that is the truth. You're saying otherwise. What I'm saying is we're not seeing it. There's something lacking on your end that we're not. The community is not on board with what you're doing.
Yes, regarding that, I think that one second.
Sorry.
Only just to respond to that. I think that is maybe our fault of not communicating to the entire DAO what we are doing, but only with the grantees and leaving it internal. And this is exactly why, based on all the governance proposals that have been raised regarding our work, plus all the discussions in Discord, plus this half of town hall talking about our work, make us realize that maybe we need, in late September, we have discussed this today, in late September, to open a specific session to tell the community the work that we do, the scope that we do, when does it start, what happens with a grant when a grantee comes into the program, and all the process along the way until they finish. So we can provide that transparency of all the work that is behind the scenes done to, first of all, support the grantees to make their projects, second of all, to take care of the DAO treasury, and third, to provide transparency. I think, and of course, you are welcome to join this session to bring your questions and raise your concerns so we can think about new processes or better processes in the future.
I would like to jump in so we don't make this like a grant support squad versus the community, because first of all, I don't think that's the case. But there's something that usually happens with transparency, and it's actually a concept, and it's called transparency paradox. And it's like the more information that we have, the less we trust the information that we have, and the more information we demand, right? So this is an effect of the grant support squad and different, not only squads, but the community as a whole being more and more transparent in the processes. And we are demanding, and you are demanding, and everyone is like demanding more transparency, because the transparency, it is there. And of course, it is an evolving process, and we need to improve the mechanisms, and we need to improve the flows, and we need to make sure that the information we are providing and we are producing gets the audience that wants to consume that information. But I want to be super clear that this is something super common in organizations. Like, this idea of transparency paradox is something that you can Google and read about it. But definitely everyone can do better here. But the discussion that we are having right now, as a discussion that we are having regarding is an effect of the governance squad creating a transparency page and a transparency report where we can see how the money is being spent, and then we get scared about that. Well, regarding the grants, it's exactly the same, right? Because we can discuss the things that we know about, right? Of course, we cannot discuss, how the foundation is spending money, because we don't know how the foundation is, right? But we know how the DAO is spending the money. And we all feel entitled of saying something, because it is good, and a DAO and an open community is for that. But that's my point of view.
And just to add to that, Gino, all of these comments are really helpful for us and are taken into account to make better processes in the future, as we have proven in this year and a half.
Wonderful. Thank you guys, everybody, for coming up here. I think with that, we're going to start moving it on towards our next portion, our in-world meetup portion. I don't know if anybody else, Teresita, Gino, anybody has any final comments, or if I can move on with Mazak, who is our tour guide for today.